Thank you, friends and family, for being here. We also want to thank everyone else who has been a part of Francis and Avalon's lives who are not present here today. Whether they're separated by distance or circumstance or just the passage of time, they've all had roles to play in guiding Avalon and Francis to this moment. And we would like to pause now and just recognize all that they have contributed. First, I would like to invite up Steve Madura for the first reading.
So today I have 3 excerpts from 3 authors. The first is Habitation by Margaret Atwood. Marriage is not a house or even a tent. It is before that and colder. In the edge of the forest, the edge of the desert, the unpainted stairs at the back where we squat outside eating popcorn, the edge of the receding glacier, where painfully and with wonder at having survived even this far, we are learning to make fire. The second is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. He remembered walking once on such a night to the clatter of crabs in the pan where he had left steak bones from the night before. Faint, deep coals of driftwood fire pulsing in the onshore wind, lying under such a myriad of stars, the sea's black horizon. He rose and walked out and stood barefoot in the sand and watched the pale surf appear all down the shore and roll and crash and darken again. When he went back to the fire, he knelt and smoothed her hair as she slept, and he said if he were God, he would have made the world just so, and no different. And the third is The Spyglass by Philip Pullman. Memory's a poor thing to have. It's your own real hair and mouth and eyes and hands I want. If only we could stay here like this and the world could stop turning and everyone else could fall into a sleep, everyone except us. Everyone, you and I, could live here forever and just love each other. I will love you forever, whatever happens, till I die and after I die. And when I find my way out of the land of the dead, I'll drift about forever, all my atoms, till I find you again. I'll be looking for you every moment, every single moment. And when we do find each other again, we'll cling together so tight that nothing and no one will ever tear us apart. Every atom of me and every atom of you will live in birds and flowers and dragonflies and pin trees and in clouds and in those little specks of light you see floating in sunbeams. And when they take our atoms and make new lives, they won't be able to take one, they'll have to take 2. One of you and one of me, and we'll be joined so tight. They lay side by side, hand in hand, looking at the sky.
Totally fine. Thank you, Steve. Friends and family, we're here today to celebrate the relationship between 2 very special people. Avalon and Francis decided to marry one another 4 years ago, and today they've decided to share this experience and celebrate it with all of us. There is something very powerful about sharing a piece of your life with those that you love that can offer a sense of wholeness. In its nearly 5,000 years of existence, marriage has meant many things to many people. It could be a covenant between 2 people and the higher power they believe in. It could be a private promise made to each other. Or it could simply be declaring to the people who mean the most to you both that you are now a family. It is for a very personal combination of all of these reasons that we're all here today. We get to have 2 kinds of family in this world. There are the people who bring us into it, the family tied to us by blood, and there are the people we choose to invite in, who we pick up along the way and decide are our family now too. That's why we're all here. Avalon and Francis have invited their blood family and their found family to come and celebrate their new family, each other. Avalon is someone very special to me. She's not just my best friend, but someone very central to my life. When we first met, we lived together in a house that was way too full of people and far too chaotic. That setting didn't make it very easy to reach out to a new person and materialize a friendship. And I wasn't sure at first if we'd get along. We didn't engage right away, and while I now know that Avalon stays quiet and observant in chaotic situations, I wasn't sure what would happen. And then one night, we drank 4 pots of tea, spiraled wildly above our heart rates, and spilled our entire lives to one another over about 2 hours. From then on, we've been texting each other from opposite sides of a house, opposite ends of New York, and now opposite sides of the country pretty consistently. And I want to use my very privileged position to say with confidence that this marriage was the right decision. Back when they were first still dating, and before I had met Francis in person, I remember hearing stories about him and their budding relationship. Francis's unwillingness to let Avalon blend into the background made her feel worthwhile and cherished in a way that was different from the comfortable spaces she normally carved for herself. She credits Francis with helping her feel seen and ultimately loved. And then I met Francis. And that was one heck of a ride. Literally, I met Francis on a rowboat in the middle of a night 5 years ago, while Avalon was waiting for us on shore. And I was a little bit overwhelmed by such a big personality in such a small boat. But in that short first ride, he was already managing to talk about my friend like she was the sun. So I was pretty sold by the time we got to our campsite. During that time, their relationship was still quite new. They had met working at Response, their crisis hotline. And beyond the altruistic work they both did, they also had a lot of interest in common, like their taste in music and their sense of humor. Avalon credits Francis as one of the first truly platonic male friends she had, mostly because his super long ponytail and tendency to use old spaghetti sauce jars as water bottles. Then, when Francis finally cut his hair, and they realized they might actually be interested in each other, they were both in such transitional places in their lives that they insisted this wasn't anything serious. And then we have Avalon texting me stories about this amazing guy, and Francis telling me, basically a stranger, how amazing Avalon was. All in all, there was no way they could insist that they weren't meant for something serious, because from the very moment they admitted how they really felt, they became this unstoppable power couple. Fast forward to now, and the two of them are both wildly important to me, and I've gotten to know them both so much better as both a team and as individuals. And since marriage is a partnership, I think it's telling the ability they have to act as a team is something that is constantly growing and strengthening. Avalon and Francis's personalities are not exactly alike. It's a lot like watching the friendship between a cat and a dog manifested between two people. But they make it work by putting in the effort. They consistently work to balance each other in their communication styles, their personalities, and they are frequently lifting one another up in their hobbies, passions, and careers. I can tell you this truthfully and with confidence because our friendship has very few boundaries. I think that many of the people here do look to Avalon and Francis and their relationship as something special, or even as a goal for something to model. No one could ever replicate what they have, but what counts is that they both found someone to encourage their dreams, to comfort when dreams don't turn out the way they planned, to collaborate with, to adventure with, to build a future with, and what we all want, to live in a pile of cats and dogs with. They've already gone through so many challenging milestones together in this marriage, including major relocations, graduate degrees, jobs, and they have taken care of one another through those so well that I know they'll flourish through the many more coming. But while marriage is certainly a partnership, it does not mean that these two are on their own in this. And that's why we're all here. We aren't just spectators watching them go through this journey together. The phrase, "it takes a village," is true. Humans succeed at so much more when their support system is bigger and stronger. When they struggle, many of us are going to be the ones there to console them. When they succeed, we'll all be eager to celebrate with them. This is almost as important as their promise to each other, and I hope that they see all these people here and know that it's more than just a celebration. Before we move on to the vows, I'd like to invite Avalon's Aunt Shannon up for the second reading.
I'll be sharing with you an excerpt from The Little Prince. It was then that the fox appeared. "Good morning," said the fox. "Good morning," said the little prince, responded politely, although when he turned around, he saw nothing. "I'm right here," the voice said, "under the apple tree." "Who are you?" asked the little prince, and added, "You are very pretty to look at." "I'm a fox," said the fox. "Come and play with me," proposed the little prince. "I'm so unhappy." "I cannot play with you," the fox said. "I am not tamed." "Ah, please excuse me," said the little prince. But after some thought, he added, "What does that mean? Tame." "It is an act too often neglected," said the fox. "It means to establish ties." "To establish ties?" "Just that," said the fox. "To me, you are nothing more than a little boy who is just like 100,000 other little boys. And I have no need of you. And you, on your part, have no need of me. To you, I am nothing more than a fox, like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, then we shall need each other. To me, you will be unique in all the world. To you, I shall be unique in all the world." "I'm beginning to understand," said the little footprints. "My life is very monotonous," the fox said. "I hunt chickens, men hunt me. All the chickens are just alike, and all the men are just alike. And in consequence, I am a little bored, but if you tame me, it will be as if the sun came to shine on my life. I shall know the sound of a step that will be different from all the others. Other steps send me hurrying back underneath the ground. Yours will call me, like music, out of my burrow. And then look, you see the grain, fields down yonder? I do not eat bread. Wheat is of no use to me. The wheat fields have nothing to say to me, and that is sad. But you have hair that is the color of gold. Think how wonderful that will be when you have tamed me. The grain, which is also golden, will bring me back the thought of you, and I shall love to listen to the wind in the wheat. What must I do to tame you? Asked the little prince. You must be very patient, replied the fox. First you will sit down at a little distance from me, like that in the grass. I shall look at you out of the corner of my eye, and you will say nothing. Words are the source of misunderstandings, but you will sit a little closer to me every day. So the little prince tamed the fox, and when the hour of his departure drew near, "Ah," said the fox, "I shall cry." "It's your own fault," said the little prince. "I never wished you any sort of harm, but you wanted me to tame you." "Yes, that is so," said the fox. "But now you are going to cry," said the little prince. "Yes, that is so," said the fox. "Then it has done you no good at all." "It has done me good," said the fox, "because of the color of the wheat fields." And then he added, "And now here is my secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. What is essential is invisible to the eye, the little prince repeated, so that he should be sure to remember. Men have forgotten this truth, said the fox, but you must not forget it. You become responsible forever for what you have tamed.
Avalon and Francis have written vows together, vows that encapsulate their relationship together, and we're now going to read those. Avalon, if you could take Francis's ring, and Francis, if you could take Avalon's ring. And as we say these vows, replace the rings on each other's fingers. Do you vow to share laughter in moments of joy and in moments of darkness?
I do.
To choose patience and tolerance over stubbornness and pride? To accept and support one another's growth, even when your partner's path diverges from your own? To show appreciation in small ways, large ways, and above all in ways that are meaningful for one another? To practice self-reflection and be aware of the energy you bring into the partnership. To prioritize your partner's words over your assumptions and listen actively.
I do.
To always motivate one another to seek adventure and new experiences and support one another's curiosity. To never stop providing one another with attention and affection as years go by, allowing your partner to feel seen and cared for. To ever stop seeking and sharing knowledge and guiding one another to see perspectives outside their own experiences. To be humble enough to ask for help and humble enough to provide it without pride. To protect one another from all the world's cruelties and to do so for the family you will one day form. To authentically feel and express love, anger, disappointment, and joy, knowing the impermanence of all these feelings on the long road of life. Friends and family, please join me in celebrating the continued bond of marriage of Mr. Francis Pastorell and Miss Avalon Mason. Go ahead and kiss each other. Yeah, you can go now. You did it.